Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Wild Turkey 17-year-old Master's Keep from 2020. I say that right, Dustin?
Yes, sir.
It's Dustin's bottle. Comes in this beautiful box right here that opens up, and sometimes it's a little bit clumsy getting the bottle out, so we already went ahead and unloaded the bottle.
Yep.
50% ABV, bottle one bottle, Dustin. This is your bottle. Where'd you pick it up, my friend?
I picked it up at a store down in Kentucky. I know the guys who run the place, and they got a couple bottles in and made sure I got one. This one just came out this year. It's gotten a lot of acclaim and came out about $180 retail. I saw it going for $200 here in Ohio. I paid around that price. So
nice thick bottle, man. I always like when they got the extra glass here at the bottle. You know that thing is thick and heavy, and it feels like it too. Interesting looking bottle too.
Yeah, well, I mean the cork is a beast as well. I mean,
yeah, it reminds me very much of like a Glenmorangie Signet.
Yeah.
Or just like a Macallan Rare cask cork. It's just very, very weighty. You can almost play shuffleboard with it or something like that.
Yep.
But what do you bourbon? Figure we'll bring another couple of bourbons to you guys every now and then. Try to sprinkle them in, kind of like salt on your eggs.
Somebody made a comment about had we had this in one of the comments for I think Can Kentucky, and I was like, well, heck, Mike, we got the bottle.
Turns out we do. Turns out we do have it.
Yeah, if people want to hear what a 17-year-old bourbon is that we haven't been raving about.
Yeah, we'll give it to you. Here we go.
Yep.
What are you picking up on the nose, my friend?
So, I mean, it's very classic, traditional Wild Turkey, Mike. You're getting that vanilla, you're getting a good bit of oak, and it's got a funk that I always people talk about as the turkey funk, and it's just kind of what I almost think of as Tootsie Roll meets oak.
Yeah, my experience with Wild Turkey is very limited. Aside from this one, the only Wild Turkey I can remember having was the 101 back in high school. So we're talking mid-early 90s. It was something we got on my buddy's dad's liquor cabinets, and it was effective. Effective is probably the best way to describe it. But this one, quite a different experience on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me a lot of like the Rare Breed or some of the store picks you can get of like they've got another bottle in Bond, but I can't think of the name, Kentucky Spirit or something. Wild Turkey's not one of my go-to distilleries either, Mike, but I do tend to pick up these. I've picked up the last 3 or 4 releases of the Master's Keep. They always come out pretty good. And I've got a Russell's Reserve pick around. I mean, I've got some turkey. And I will say this, the Rare Breed's probably the best value for your money that you can consistently buy right now. As
far as bourbons go?
Yeah, about $40, $45, and it's cask strength. And it has some older whiskey in it, so.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you can definitely tell it's a well-aged whiskey. I mean, you're definitely getting that strong oak note on here.
Yeah, I mean, you're actually getting some leather, varnish. I mean, you're actually getting all those really old whiskey notes coming out.
Of any type of whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, this smells like a 20-plus-year-old Scotch as far as the oak, the wood notes on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is like going into an antique store, and like they've just refinished the surface of one of those like antique tables, and you're like, ooh, yeah. I mean, it's dusty leather too. It's not even like fresh leather jacket. This is that dusty. You picked it up at the vintage thrift store, antique store. Hell, maybe you're paying a premium these days. I don't know.
Yeah, those things kind of in style these days. But yeah, something that hasn't been touched in years and been sitting in a closet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you still get some of the caramel notes that you normally get, from a good bourbon, but it isn't like it would normally be where it's candied and everything. It's dried out caramel. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
It's still very sweet, but it's got a whole different depth to it.
Not as sweet as as I would traditionally think a bourbon would be. We pick them the palate.
So I'm going right back to that descriptor of, it's like Tootsie Roll made an oak version of Tootsie Rolls, where they put oak flavor in it. It's got that, it's chewy, it's chocolatey a little bit, but it's got this like oaky wood note. There's a bit of must, like maybe some damp wood.
Almost like a Tootsie Pop. It's almost like that candy used to have, like you had to chew the middle to get the gum.
Yeah.
But it's not the candy outside, it's like the gum inside, which probably wasn't the greatest gum in the world.
Well, yeah.
But you put it around a candy
Well, like the chocolate-centered one, right? Not
that's what I mean, chocolate-centered.
You had the blow pop,
yeah. Chocolate-centered is what I meant.
Yeah, and it was that chocolate was always funky. It was a little weird, a little different, and that's absolutely going on here. You definitely can pick up the age. The vanilla here comes off well. There's a fruitiness up front that I can't put a fruit to it, but I think fruity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess as far as a fruit, I would just say like sort of a, maybe a peach that was left out too long, something like that. It's almost like a fruit that gone a little bit bad, almost like a brown banana.
Yeah, yeah, peach definitely, but
Old
yeah,
peach.
it's going somewhere.
Yeah, you probably should have had it yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like yesterday was probably the last day you probably should have ate it. Now, like I got to throw this for real.
Yeah, a lot of oak here, but I gotta say it's balanced in a really nice way. I like the oak forwardness here. I think some people, if you're not into older bourbon, or you're gonna kind of think to yourself, but I like it. It's because it's got enough sweetness up front that it balances that. It's got that vanilla, but again, it's a antiqued leather vanilla. Let's put some water on this one, see where we get there.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. I took a little sip. Let's give it a little splash, see what we're getting here. 50%, it's always kind of hit and miss as far as adding water, but this one here, being as old as it is, it almost feels like it maybe needs just a little bit to open up. And not that you haven't, had this bottle a while, and not that you haven't drank it down, where it's received some oxidation.
Yeah, it's definitely been open, and it's definitely, I probably haven't touched this in a few months, but I think I went back to it a couple nights ago because I was thinking, hey, we're gonna do the review. I should give it a quick, side by side. I forget, I had this next to a William Heaven Hill 13 year just to kind of.
What do you think comparatively?
I like this one a little bit better. The William Heaven Hill came out this year. It's another one of those hard to get, ultra expensive Heaven Hill bottles.
I believe we had that with a buddy of mine, did we not?
Keith brought it over here, and we had it with your buddy as well. It's my bottle. So yeah, we've had that bottle. We've had 2 different bottles of that.
Yeah, I mean, that was enjoyable. Like this one, it's enjoyable. I mean, I don't know if I would personally, I'm a Scotch guy, so I don't know if I'd personally like run out to get it or anything else like that. I mean, 150 steep, you can get some decent Scotches for that price, but to have something different and unique, there's always something to be said for that. Now, Dustin, I will tell you this, with water in it, it does get sweeter. That caramel sweetness does come up a little bit more.
Definitely got sweeter on the nose and on the palate, but it lost a little something in the front of the palate. It actually made the finish bigger and bolder, kind of, which I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting the finish to get bigger while the front end lost a little something.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it smells a lot better. It smells sweeter, more candy with a little bit of water in it. I almost feel like that 50%, it really couldn't handle a lot of water. I put a couple drops in there. Maybe I should have been a little bit lighter with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I think same notes, same flavors. I think it was a little better without the water. It lost a little bit of the mouthfeel too. And again, 50%, and this is not an oily, rich bourbon. It's oaky, it's got a good tannic bite, but it's not rich and velvety, it's not heavy oils.
No, this isn't displacing King Kentucky as my favorite bourbon anytime soon.
Not even in the same stratosphere.
No, not in the same stratosphere. Where as far as whiskey scoring this one?
Mike, I'm gonna be, I'll go 87.
I'll go 83.
Wow.
This really wasn't my cup of tea, I would say. Again, I'm not a huge bourbon guy.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying with that whole Tootsie Roll thing. I don't like Tootsie Rolls. Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't that kind of bitter chocolate.
And I think the point that we got to get to is this is Wild Turkey showcasing their funk. And if you don't like turkey funk,
this isn't
stay the hell away.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's not like I don't really appreciate what
you have to love oak, and you have to love turkey funk, and they're both here in full regards. This is a connoisseur's bourbon. It really is for a bourbon connoisseur who really appreciates complexity, nuance, and wants their bourbon to be in that older, oakier range. So
anyway, that's where we're at as far as whiskey score. If you guys have had a chance to try this one, let us know what you think, or if you have any other recommendations as far as bourbon, we're always taking requests. Now, before you say Michter's 20 or 25, know that those aren't the easiest thing to get. So if you have some a little more obtainable, feel free to drop a comment in the section down below, and we'll do what we can to bring it to you guys. Until then, Dustin, what do we wish the folks?
happy oaky drinking.
See you next time.